Hello and welcome to Fatboss Weekly Season 2, Episode 9.
Hello.
And for the people who don't know, Fatboss Weekly is our weekly news show where me and Alex talk about shit that's important to us that's happened over the past week or so.
Indeed.
And to start off, this week in World of Warcraft, the Mists of Pandaria Digital Deluxe Edition is heading into the Blizzard archive.
I didn't even know it was still out, in all fairness.
Yeah, you can still purchase it digitally, and it's...
You get like the mount and the pet, I assume.
What comes with it is the Quillen mount, the Lucky Quillen cub pet, a Mists of Pandaria themed Diablo 3 banner and sigil and accent, as well as a Horde and Alliance themed StarCraft 2 portrait.
So pretty much fuck all apart from the mount and the pet.
It's just vanity shit. I have it. I'm pretty sure most of viewers have it anyway.
I don't.
But yeah, if you guys do want to pick this up, then now's your time to do it. You will be able to pick it up afterwards, no doubt. So, I mean, there's probably a few floating around on eBay and whatnot, so you'll probably be able to do it in the future anyway. But to save you some money, yeah, you probably want to do it now if you're still after those things.
Or you could just go and buy loads of physical copies, wait a year, and then sell them to all the people who didn't get it.
Could do that.
That's a money-making scheme.
Well done, Alex.
Fatboss Financial Services here. Giving you heads up on what's going on.
Good job, Alex. Good job. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be ending on the 10th of March. So yeah, you have until then to buy it.
So it's like 2 days or so. Now, on Warlords of Draenor news, and there's quite a few things that have been floating about that we're going to have a little talk about. And first off, there's going to be no Realm First achievements for leveling or professions.
And we knew about this anyway. There was interviews where they were discussing a few things for Warlords of Draenor, and this was like decided very, very early, and we haven't picked up on it at all, really.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it. So
yeah,
I think it's a good thing that we do talk about it, because overall, well, it doesn't really bother me because I never get there first. I'm always kind of, oh, what's that squirrel doing over there, and stuff like that while I'm playing. So I don't really expect to get any of this anyway. But I know that a lot of people do play on release, literally just to get the Realm First leveling and Realm First professions. To be honest, with the Realm First leveling, if it's like any other expansion release, when it actually releases and there's a huge queue to get on and like none of the servers are working and you have like 12 World of Warcrafts open in tiny little boxes across your single screen, just waiting for one of them to connect, it seems like the Realm First level to, well, it will be level to 100, is pretty much who can connect first, and then afterwards it's kind of like you do get a good like maybe hour head start if you're lucky, because it can take so long, you know?
Yeah, but just sitting there from 90 to 100 in itself is a lot of work. You can't just say it's just logging onto the servers.
That's it. That's all you have to do. But that is like one of the key parts, was a bit RNG-y. But I would say that it's a hell of a lot of work. It's a bit unhealthy, I suppose.
Yeah, but the fact them removing it, what do we think about that?
I don't know, really. As I said, it doesn't really bother me, but I can imagine it bothering people who actually want to go for that kind of shit. And it is like another sense of achievement. Like, I did this first, and it's like quite cool to do that, and now there isn't like an official way of showing it. In my personal opinion, I think it's a very bad thing. Alright.
I think there should be lots of Realm First achievements. I mean, like, for almost everything. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd have Realm First achievements for individual bosses as well. Because then that makes the race even more competitive, especially in the early few weeks, because ultimately, obviously, the last boss is the most important for most people.
Yeah.
But if you're, like, very close with another guild on your server in terms of progression, when you see that pop up and you're the other guild, and it's just like, damn them. Oh. And then you beat them to the next boss after that, seeing that sort of race, and obviously the whole server's watching as well. You know, I think that's fantastic. I think there should be far more Realm First achievements, but like, I don't mean just raids. I think there should be for almost everything, like lots of little stupid things. I think removing them away is kind of bad, because I just don't see what damage they're doing by being there. If anything, they're just small achievements that probably aren't that hard to program in. I mean, they've been in the game since Wrath of the Lich King. Why don't we just keep them? Why don't we just keep them, or maybe introduce a few more? I don't see what damage it does to the rest of the WoW community. Yeah, to be honest, I do agree with you. Yeah, I mean, sure, it only affects like a small number of people. It probably affects less than like 1,000 people across EU at least. Yeah, for all the individual achievements. I mean, I don't know how many realms there are, but either way, yeah, I just don't see why you would remove them. I think it's a good thing. Picking up on the thing where you said that you can see what guild is ahead of you. Oh, they killed the boss before. But that doesn't even need to be built in by achievement. That could just be built in by server announcement. Because I remember many times when we were progressing, this was back at the beginning of Cataclysm, where our guild was pretty terrible. Yeah, we were a new guild. But it was fun.
But like we were like progressing on Nefarian, and then like some other guild got realm first Nefarian and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh god damn it, I'll have to beat him to another realm first or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a really cool thing still, being able to see what the other guilds are doing in real time across all chats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe keep that in. If the achievements are there, I'm not much of an achievement person. That doesn't bother me. It's always a feat of strength anyway. But people kind of like it so they can link it and stuff like that. But overall...
Yeah, it's like an EPing thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's a lot of WoW, though, overall.
Yeah.
So, either way, yeah, it's kind of shit, I suppose.
Now, since last week's episode of FatBoss Weekly, where we talked about Warlords of Draenor and all the interviews that are going on, there has been more since. One interview, which was with PCGamesN.com, a Blizzard dev stated, "We are planning on simplifying our currency structure." And the points that were brought up were, Valor points were previously used to offset bad luck in getting raid drops, but the bonus roll system now fits that role. The bonus roll system might get a little bit smarter with less chance to get duplicate loot, which I think is
good,
a pretty good thing. And they also said that PvP currently has 2 currencies and the team is trying to get rid of one of them. Randomly assigning PvP gear wouldn't make any sense, so they're not going to use some sort of LFR shit or anything like that. But conquest points work well.
Now, talking about the Valor points used to offset bad luck and getting raid drops, maybe at the beginning of the expansion where you use your Valor points in order to buy gear, like, that isn't as good. It's never as good, but it's still gear, you know?
I mean, that's how it used to work previously, so they have said that, you know, the bonus roll, they like that because that's your way of getting the extra gear rather than having to spend your Valor points, and that's why you spend your Valor points on upgrading that gear instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether that system's the right system or not for the game, I don't know. I don't like the whole idea of the bonus roll personally. I hate the RNG factor of it. I mean, like, for example, one week on my Paladin, what did I get? I coined the main hand from Dark Shamans on Heroic, and then the next week I coined the Heroic Warforged.
Why do you hate this?
I mean, it's been very good to me. It's been very good to me.
I hate this system. It's given me so much gear.
But on my Shaman, on my Shaman, I think the last 12 coins I've done, I've literally got nothing.
Yeah, I think it's quite annoying, and I think it's very good that they're going to remove the duplicate thing, because as a hunter, I coin Dark Shamans every week trying to get
you've had the Harem helm,
and I've got the helm off that boss, Heroic Warforged, about 3 or 4 times from coin, and I'm just like, I don't need this, so... I think it would be good if they made it so it isn't duplicate gear. Maybe so you can select the gear that you want from the bonus roll, possibly, because you might want the duplicate gear. Like some people, with weapons, or maybe, well, rings wouldn't really work, or maybe you want to have it for an extra set of gear so you don't have to keep reforging and stuff like that. Well, that won't even be in the game, but you know, so you can have that extra set of gear. So maybe that's something they might want to take into account. But overall, I think these changes is a little bit weird.
Yeah, they haven't really expanded on it. There was actually a forum post that someone made which was titled "Simplifying Currency, That's the Grand Plan." So they were just sort of shit-talking it, which you can see why. But Bashok, the community manager, did reply on the post. It says, "We're not quite ready to talk about specifics, but the plan is not just to remove currencies. Let bonus rolls stay as is, and expect everything will work out fine. We're keenly aware of how gearing works in the game. I think the changes we have planned will assuage your fears once we are ready to lay it out. And then he says in brackets, it's pretty cool. I think you'll like it." But again, no information. But it does seem that they are going to be changing something. What they are changing, they either haven't decided completely yet, and that's why they're not giving us any information on it, or they just don't want to give any information on it just yet anyway.
Yeah, because to be honest, I don't think I can really be angry about any of this just yet, because some of the things that they have said are quite interesting, and the other things
are so unclear. It's quite funny that you automatically want to become angry.
Well, yeah, because it's changed.
That's your first point of cause.
Anything that changes is just like, why are you changing it? It's like, we're making the content better. Why? How dare you? But either way, you can't really have like a full opinion on this because there isn't enough information out. Yeah. So we have to keep an eye on that. So we'll have to see what goes on. So there also was another interview with the person who did the interview with PCGamesN.com. He did an interview with Yogscast Turpster, and he was talking about a lot of things. We kind of scraped it together. And first off, he was talking about the Warlords of Draenor starting experience. And he said, everyone will have a starting experience in Warlords of Draenor, which will take place before the gameplay in recent videos.
Which we talked about last week, and you've seen probably all over MMO Champion and everything.
Yeah. The normal experience takes place at the Dark Portal, having you go through to stop the impending Iron Horde invasion. You aren't able able to defeat the Iron Horde, but you do stop the imminent threat. Thank God, Lawrence. Because if you defeated the Iron Horde then, that would be the worst fucking expansion. But yeah, characters that are boosted to level 90 will have a slightly different experience, with most of the skills removed from their bars and having abilities unlocked again as they play.
Which we also talked about last week.
Now, we did speak about Garrisons, and he said Garrisons should give you access to portions of other professions without making the people that actually have the professions useless. So, we kind of spoke about this a little bit before as well, that it will make it so you can do X and Y, but it won't make it so you can do the really top-end gear, because otherwise
it probably just won't be as effective as mining, as example. If you went and mined a node in Warlords of Draenor, you might get 10 ore, whereas your Garrison NPCs might only get 2.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's the kind of idea.
The mounts in your Garrison stables will also be mounts that you owned, now based on the ones that you use the most. So
I like this.
It seems like it's going to be like clever in the way that it turns. It'd be nice to say that you can put set amounts of, like, because maybe you only want horses in your stables.
I only want turtles.
Turtles would be good, I suppose.
Let's do it.
They would live in a pond, wouldn't they? Not a stable.
No, because there probably isn't a pond. Unless you put the stable in the pond.
So Blizzard, work on that, because I don't...
Please.
Well, I've got fucking Ashes of Alar. That's like on fire. That's going to burn my stick with Blizzard. You've got to sort this out. This is silly now, okay? But he also said that Garrisons have a new NPC AI system that allows NPCs to behave less like scripted NPCs we have now. Which is good.
It'd be interesting to see, actually.
I have absolutely no idea how they're going to do that, because the NPCs in WoW overall are a bit retarded.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's going to make them a bit more real, I guess.
An example of this was that the blacksmith could wake up, go to work at his forge, become thirsty, eventually taking a break, going to the tavern, and then finally going back to the barracks to sleep.
God, this is a lazy-ass blacksmith. Let me get this right.
He goes to work.
He has a break, which he spends in the tavern. Then he just goes to sleep instead of going back to work. He doesn't understand what a break is. It's not... Oh, I'm not having a bloody blacksmith now. He's going to be in the pub all the time.
So this improved AI was made necessary when the team decided to allow players to select where they place their buildings in their garrison, making it impossible to pre-script and pre-place all of the NPC interactions. So that makes sense. This system might be used with NPCs in cities and other places in the future.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, have to see how that works.
Now, the location of your buildings in your garrison is mostly for personal choice, as the gameplay element of Garrison is selecting which buildings you want for your limited plots that you have. So that's good that, of course, they're giving you choice. Now, the team is aware of the problem with the farm in Mists of Pandaria, even though it's like the best thing.
It's fucking garbage.
It's amazing. And doesn't want players to feel the need to have their garrisons on their ults just to funnel resources to their mains. So that's a good thing, to be honest. I know a lot of people maxed out there, especially at the beginning of the expansion when you wanted the food buff and everything. You maxed out the farm and all your characters and then had to do it in order to get your food buff.
Just don't even talk about the farm, please.
It's so good. Please, more farms. Now, players will want to check in with their garrisons once per play session, they say, maybe when they log in or out. It won't be the place to idle like cities currently are, as there are no auction house there, and there won't be a bank either. So it's kind of just a place where you want to go and check out what the hell all your people are doing, send them out on their quests, and then come back the next day, which we kind of knew already. So.
Yeah, but that's everything about garrisons in that particular interview. They then went on to continue to talk about raiding. There aren't any plans for Mythic-only bosses in the patch 6.0 raids, but there will be some Mythic-only elements of the fight, similar to the extra phase on Garrosh Heroic. Mythic bosses only will continue to be added when they make sense.
That kind of is okay, I guess, for now.
I like this idea.
Yeah, normally the first, because like with Heroic all the time, it is very nice to have a whole new phase to go into, especially if they shroud it in like the mystery, you know, they don't talk about it in the dungeon journal or anything like that. So you go in there like, what the fuck's going on? So that's pretty fucking awesome. And they did go on to talk about Raden. Now, Raden didn't work out as intended. Shock, shock, surprise, horror, horror. The bosses wasn't tested publicly to ensure that it remained a surprise, and Ion wasn't able to spend as much time as he would have liked watching the internal testing sessions. This resulted in some loopholes in the fight when making it live, and Raden being easier than intended. Yeah, Raden was a whole mess.
Well, he was ridiculously hard and impossible to kill until someone worked out that the fight was kind of broken.
Yeah. In all other places, that would have been seen as like an unintentional game mechanic sort of thing. Like, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But
well, he was killed in the unintentional way.
And then he's been killed like that ever since.
Yeah, and Blizzard being like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, normally, if that's what I don't get about Raden, that's why I think Raden's one of the worst bosses of this whole expansion, because Blizzard brought him out, he's all shrouded in secrecy, he's got some cool mechanics, everyone's finding it really, really difficult, it's next to impossible, actually. Then someone found out how to bug it, and instead of Blizzard
it wasn't necessarily a bug, it's just people worked out a way of doing the fight where you completely ignore like half of the mechanics of the fight, because they just don't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It isn't a bug, it's just bad design.
Either way, and then Blizzard, instead of saying, oh, okay, so of course they need to skip that, so we'll just sort that out, adjust the numbers, make it so that doesn't happen. Instead, they're like, all right then, you can have this one. So it's just like, oh, thanks for the fucking great boss, Blizz. Well done. But either way, so yeah, I think it is good that they know that Raden didn't really work out as intended, because I think everyone else is aware of that. They did go on to say that the team is aware that the timeline in older content is a little bit inconsistent, but updating the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King content would take away from our Warlords of Draenor development, because a lot of people have just been like, why the hell is Sinestra still in Outland and all this kind of shit, and mobs being all over the place and all that sort of stuff, like NPC mods haven't really been changed and stuff like that. So of course they could go back and change it all, but I think I'd rather them spend a little bit of time on Warlords of Draenor rather than fucking about in the old content.
I think we can all agree with
Garrosh isn't in the wrong place because of storyline. Don't really care.
So moving away from all the Warlords of Draenor news, Alex, what's going on with the stream?
So yeah, since about November and December, we have been live streaming quite a lot, like at least 3 or 4 days a week sort of thing. And it's been awesome fun. Through the support of the people who've been watching the stream, through like donations and the subscription model and all that kind of good stuff. And we have actually managed to get brand new computers, so we can actually stream at more than 1 frame per second, which is amazing.
And play WoW at more than 1 frame a second.
Yeah, I'm like in raids now, and I didn't even know that Garrosh slammed his axe down during that intermission phase. I thought that it just appeared. So I've learned a lot about the game since I can actually fucking see it now. So yeah, it's really awesome that you guys are supporting us, and as a way of thanking you, I'm going to be streaming on Saturday, which is tomorrow if you're watching this as this comes out, or it's today, so it's going to be Saturday the 8th of March, and we're going to be doing every single raid that's ever been released with the viewers in one sitting. It's going to be a long one, but it's a way of us saying thank you. I think it's going to be a little bit of a fun, like, fun thing to do. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. And I think what we're going to do, because it's going to be quite long and you'll get tired throughout, we'll probably start with Mists and go backwards. So the last thing we ever do is Ragnaros in Molten Core. That's probably how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's probably good.
That's going to be starting at 2 PM in GMT, or that's 3 PM in like European time, and there's going to be other times on the screen now. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be awesome fun. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's all going to be done with all the viewers. You don't have to be subscribed or anything like that. It's going to be done with the viewers. It's going to be awesome fun. So do come along to that. Now moving on to the part of the show, we look at our mail.
You guys know how it works. Send in your mail to us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Twitch.
Yes.
And there's a chance you will be featured in next week's show.
Indeed.
And to start off, we have a message from Pyrobot on Twitch who says, "Hello, I know you guys are usually short on viewer submissions." No, we're not. We're usually fine.
Yeah, we normally got quite a few, but you guys
usually
got to keep
just random and like asking like for like pictures of me nude. They're not doing anything like that. But yeah. So he says, I thought I'd give you something this week. I'm currently raiding heroic content and I'm a bit curious on the seemingly massive difference in between your performance and ours. I mean, I think he means our guild.
Yeah.
Because we stream our main raids. We're still relatively high ranked and geared for everything. And I want to know what stuff you guys are doing behind the scenes, so to speak. What little DPS healing tricks you guys have to maximize your performance. And could you perhaps discuss your classes and specs in a bit more depth? Maybe in another video. Thanks beforehand.
Well, to be honest, because we're on farm at the moment, people are pretty much going in for doing ranks and stuff like that.
Yeah, everyone on our raid team is pretty much just being a whore right now.
Yeah,
we've cleared all the content for like
a long time
now, and we're just farming it. So, I mean, there are some fights where we're just not bringing, we're bringing very little healers, just bringing in lots of DPS. Some DPS will literally go on the fight and they'll just say, right, I'm ranking, give me tricks. I'm just going to stand still so healers make sure I have pain suppression and all that sort of shit. You know, just to maximize the DPS. We do have people doing that sort of stuff. So, I mean, the difference in terms of tips and whatnot, I don't think anyone's doing anything particularly special.
Yeah, because a lot of the time we're just going for ranks overall. Otherwise, if we aren't going for ranks on the boss, we just kind of kill it in the intended way or in a faster way. Like, we're keeping shamans, like recently we'd be keeping dark shamans together.
It just makes the
it's a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah,
I'm in ranged and I'm still scared. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Although you got rank 2 this week.
I did get rank 2. I'm like 5k DPS. I'm getting tricks. I'm coming for rank 1. Someone in Method, I can't remember the hunter's name. I'm coming for you. But yeah, either way, it's very, very fun, I guess.
It's something new to go for. Once you finish the content, you've been farming it for such a long time, it makes it more interesting by going for ranks, and that's why maybe on the stream some people look like they have absolutely bizarre DPS. You know, Warlock's doing 3 million DPS and stuff like that. It's literally just because they're getting tricked
and some like even on Nazgrim, keeping all the beginning ads
together,
alive, and then waiting for a shaman to spawn so they can keep healing them while the AoE.
Just really stupid shit.
And like on Galacrest this week, we had it so only like 7 people were doing with the ads, and like everyone went up in the turret. It was done like in a split second. Really stupid strats, because we can kind of do stupid strats, you know, because we've already cleared the content, so we're having a bit more of like
it's just a bit of a laugh, really, yeah.
And people like ranks, so fair enough, it's all good. So yeah, that's pretty much what that whole thing's about. If you watch our live stream and see some bizarre things, it's because bizarre things are happening. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much covers that.
But in terms of like things like preparing for the raids, I don't think it's really done. It's all done on the spot. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go for a rank. There's not really anything.
I guess some people might work out strats or something for maybe getting ranks, and see, like, maybe with the with the Nazgrim thing, they would like, okay, so I've seen that other guilds are getting a stupid amount of damage on those ads. Obviously, this is what they did, so let's try and replicate it. So maybe some people are doing some research behind their ranks and stuff like that. But overall, I don't think it's a huge amount of effort. Like,
yeah, it's just people just messing around, really.
Yeah.
But in terms of making videos and like on how to play your classes and that, me and Alex have never really done class guides. Was something that we might be looking at doing in Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, we are going to be
mainly if we are going to do it, it would be for the beta.
Yeah.
But other channels you can watch would be people like Mikepreachwow. He does brilliant class guides. They're not like super in depth. They're not going to get you rank 1 on World of Logs or whatever, but they will tell you exactly what
you need to do.
Yeah, they'll give you your rotation. They'll tell you he'll tell you what sort of gems and gear and all that sort of thing to go for. So yeah, go watch Mikepreachwow. We'll put a link in the description.
Now, Mormon and Twitch asks, as a newish player to the late game content in WoW, what would be decent item level requirements for each different difficulty, and how would I go about achieving those requirements? P.S. Chicken giblets. Love this. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, with the item level requirements, I assume we'll just talk about Siege of Orgrimmar here.
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, for you to go straight into Siege of Orgrimmar, looking for raid, you can just go in there with gear from the Timeless Isle, and we talked about that a couple of Fatboss Weeklies ago, and how shit that gear is.
Yeah.
For its item level, it is shit. It's badly itemized. It has very little sockets. What I would do is grab that gear and then go to TOT looking for raid.
Yeah,
when you've picked up some gear in TOT looking for raid, start going to TOT normals and Siege of Orgrimmar looking for raids. Because the thing is, even though an item has low item level, that item might be better for your class than an item that has 10 more item level, just because of the itemization on it.
Yeah.
Itemization is more important than item level, generally, unless the item level is such a massive increase and you just get so much more strength, agility, or in.
Yeah.
But generally, you should always go for items that have like better itemization. In terms of item level requirements, that's why it's difficult, because your item level might be like, I don't know, 530, but all your itemization might be terrible. And if it is terrible, then 510 gear with better itemization would be just as effective in most cases, or 520 for that matter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, and obviously meta gem, the legendary meta and the legendary cloak, they're like ridiculously important.
Yeah.
So instead of like focusing on item level, focus on the legendaries.
Yeah.
Get the legendaries, then start working on item level to get into groups. Because if you try and join a group, pretty much most groups, if you just say I have cloak, I have meta gem, they'll invite you.
Yeah.
They probably don't care what your item level is, because the meta gem and the cloak just are so important for tanks, DPS, and healers. So yeah, I don't think it's wise for us to give you sort of like an item level requirement.
Because really. I want to be honest, I'm quite against item level requirements.
Yeah, same.
Like
I think it's bullshit. But it's like the standard thing to do in WoW. Pretty much every pug uses that as a system,
of course.
So.
But yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, in terms of getting those requirements, well, that gear, I should say. Just start with the Timeless Isle, go TOT looking for raids, try and get into TOT 10-man, start Siege of Orgrimmar looking for raids, and then you should be like good as gold to move on to flexes and Siege of Orgrimmar normal. And obviously knowing the tactics for bosses is going to help you a lot, because if your damage is a little bit low but you're not dying, people will probably appreciate, well, that guy didn't die, so yeah. He's cool.
You do more damage if you're alive overall, so yeah, try and do that.
But yeah, good luck. Now Louis on Twitter asks, hey guys, I was wondering, the Garrosh Heirlooms LFR Flex normal and heroic, will they be equally as good for leveling?
I didn't ever really consider this, to be honest. I highly doubt it. I assume that the heroic one will scale better than the looking for raid one.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. However, I don't think anyone actually knows, do they?
Yeah, I don't think it's been said. I couldn't find any information on this.
So, I
have no idea. But, I mean, how it could work is that at level 90, obviously right now, they're all different.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
vastly different. You can see the massive discrepancy between the stats that they have. As soon as you hit 91, they might immediately all be the same.
Yeah, they might
It's
all default
possible.
to something.
I think that's very unlikely, though. Because
Yeah, because that seems a bit pointless.
it's like, well, what's the point getting heroic staff?
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
could just get an LFR staff or whatever.
Well, even though you can't drop heirlooms in looking for radius and flex. But yeah, you can just get a flex staff, so...
Oh, yeah, flex, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
LFR isn't even there. My bad.
Yeah,
It's
so
only
I
flex.
just thought of that. So yeah, but yeah, I highly doubt it. I think that it will scale properly with the actual item level. It will just be that gap apart throughout the leveling experience. But if not, I think there'll be quite a few pissed off people because that seems a bit BS. If not,
And to be honest, that's a very good question. You should probably forward that on to like a Blizzard dev. I'm pretty damn sure one of them would reply to it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that. So thanks for watching, guys. That's all we got time for this week. If you would like to be featured in next week's show, then please do send in your mail to us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Twitch. And everything we talked about today, there are links in the description as well, so check those out as well. Remember to tune into Alex's live stream.
Yes.
I'll be there as well for a little while, but
He'll be in
hell
and
am I
out.
doing all fucking raids.
I'm doing all fucking raids and it's gonna be fucking awesome. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. It's gonna be good fun. So looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And for now, catch you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.